On August 19th, Ukrainian forces delivered a powerful strike against a critically important element of Russian logistics, a fuel train. Using FPV kamikaze drones, they attacked a Russian convoy in the temporarily occupied Zaporizhzhia region. The train was moving toward Tokmak, one of the occupiers' key logistical hubs through which supplies for the Russian grouping in the south are routed. As a result of the strike, the train was halted right on the railway tracks, followed by the detonation of dozens of fuel tank cars. The blasts were so powerful that columns of fire rose tens of meters into the sky. The explosions came in a series, and flames engulfed the entire length of the train. Satellite data confirmed that the blaze was visible even from space. The destruction of this train represents not only the loss of fuel, critically needed for tanks, armored vehicles, and trucks, but also a blow to the pace of supply for the entire southern front. At a time when the Russians are trying to maintain their defense in the Zaporizhzhia direction, even a few days of delay in supplies could become a serious problem for their army. Moreover, the attack on the train had another strategic effect. It demonstrated the vulnerability of Russian rear communications. Ukrainian drones are now capable of carrying out pinpoint strikes on targets that just a few months ago seemed secure. This incident is already being referred to as a fire strike, since the scale of the blaze is striking even by wartime standards. The occupation authorities tried to downplay the consequences, but numerous photos and videos from the scene testify to the complete destruction of most of the train. Just 2 days later, on the night of August 21st, Ukrainian Special Operations Forces carried out another devastating strike on the enemy's logistics. Once again, the target was a fuel train, this time near the strategically important railway hub in Jankoy, in northern occupied Crimea. Jankoy is a key transportation artery for the Russians. This is where railways from mainland Crimea converge, from which supplies flow to Simferopol, Sevastopol, and the southern front. Through this station, the Russian army moves fuel, ammunition, armored vehicles, and personnel. A strike at this location had particular significance. It not only destroyed another batch of fuel, but also jeopardized the stability of the entire southern supply system. The attack sparked a massive fire. Preliminary reports indicate that part of the fuel convoy was destroyed, and railway traffic was temporarily halted. The explosions were so strong that they were heard by residents in neighboring districts of Crimea. Russian sources reported an emergency situation and urgent security measures, highlighting the seriousness of the strike. On the same night, August 21st, Ukrainian drones from the Magyar Birds Brigade delivered yet another strike on Russia's strategic oil infrastructure. They hit the Unecha pumping station, a key hub of the Druzhba oil pipeline in the Bryansk region. This station is critical for transporting Russian oil to Europe, particularly through Belarus, Hungary, Slovakia, and also to the Baltic coast. According to a representative of Ukraine's drone forces, the station was put out of service. Under wartime conditions, repairs must be carried out within 48 hours. This was not the first strike. On the night of August 12th to 13th, a similar drone attack disabled the same Unecha station, causing a major fire confirmed by NASA satellite data. On August 18th, the brigade struck the Nikolsky pumping station in the Tambov region. Following this, Russia temporarily suspended oil transportation through the Druzhba pipeline, prompting a reaction from Hungary. Ambassador Olaf Szijjártó accused Ukraine of striking at his country's energy security. Although deliveries were later restored, this series of strikes has already caused significant disruptions in the system of Russian energy supplies to Europe. These attacks on Russia's fuel network are aimed at paralyzing the flow of oil that finances the Kremlin's war machine. After the wave of Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian oil refineries in August, Russia itself began to face a noticeable fuel crisis. Shortages of gasoline have already been recorded in several regions of the country, as well as in the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. The most visible problems are in remote areas, particularly in Russia's Far East. There, drivers are forced to stand in kilometer-long lines just to refuel their cars. And some gas stations have introduced rationing. Fuel is dispensed only in small amounts. This creates a sense of panic among the population and destabilizes the domestic market. Analysts note that the current shortage has been caused by several factors at once. First, Ukrainian drone strikes seriously damaged the infrastructure of Russian refineries, reducing their production capacity. Second, the seasonal increase in demand for fuel during summer has created additional pressure on the market. Third, logistical issues, delays in delivering fuel from major refining centers to the regions, have amplified the shortage. Even an official appointed by Moscow in the occupied part of the Zaporizhzhia region admitted that fuel sales are essentially shutting down. He directly linked this to logistical difficulties and the risk of Ukrainian attacks on convoys and fuel trains. This confirms that Ukrainian strikes are already having a systemic effect on Russia's ability to supply its forces. In annexed Crimea, local authorities have openly warned that fuel problems may persist for at least another month. This situation shows that Ukraine's strikes on Russia's energy infrastructure are not just a military tactic, but also a powerful tool of economic pressure, already felt by both the military and the civilian population of the Russian Federation. Meanwhile, Russia carried out one of the largest air attacks in recent months, striking deep into western Ukraine. On the night of August 21st, a wave of Russian missiles and drones hit several regions. In the city of Mukachevo, a Russian strike nearly destroyed an electronics plant owned by an American company, causing a massive fire. The enterprise, which produced household appliances, sustained significant damage, and dozens of workers were injured. President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attack, stressing that the plant had no military significance, calling it a deliberate strike on American investments in Ukraine. According to him, this very telling attack, carried out against the backdrop of international peace initiatives, demonstrates that Moscow is not interested in a diplomatic resolution to the war. Thank you, friends, for watching this video to the end. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest events. This material was prepared by Hustler. See you soon.